The 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup will see the best footballers on the planet do battle. The USA's world beaters are on the hunt for a three-peat. But sharpshooter Sam Kerr is desperate to fire Australia to glory on home soil. Immerse yourself in the biggest sporting event of the year with the Contenders. The face of the 2023 World Cup, Samantha Kerr, the most dangerous footballer in the world. Only 29, the Australian has held the record for the most goals in her home country's professional league and the USA's National Women's Soccer League. And in each of her first 2 seasons in England's Women's Super League, she topped the goal-scoring charts for Chelsea. At international level, she is the all-time record goalscorer for Australia, male or female. She is a hero in her homeland and primed to ignite the 2023 World Cup.
Yeah, I think Australia is a sporting nation, so we're really going to embrace the women's game and hopefully take it to new heights. I think after France in 2019, the game's elevated so much, so hopefully Australia can really promote what the women's game is about, and I might be biased, but I think we have one of the most beautiful countries in the world, so hopefully everyone enjoys it just as much as we're going to enjoy playing at home in front of packed stadiums.
Using her speed to run in behind defenses, strength to lead the line, and bravery in the air, Kerr started her scoring streak aged only 15, and by 16, she was named the W League Player of the Year by her peers. Her trademark backflip celebration gained a massive new audience when she joined Western New York Flash, the first of 3 NWSL franchises to earn her signature. By the time she'd proven herself at Chelsea, she was the most feared footballer in the game, with a trail of records and individual awards stretching 3 continents.
Every year I strive to be the best player I can be, and I think as I get older, I think I appreciate it more. I think when I was younger, I took it for granted sometimes, but now I'm older, I think I appreciate it more, and I appreciate all the people that help me be able to do what I do on the field. So it still is enjoyable, but you can't really compare. They're all the same for me.
Kerr's dynamic style of play and bubbly persona have transferred her on-field success into a profile previously unheard of for an Australian footballer. In 2017, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation named her the country's Sportsperson of the Year. Not long afterwards, she received the title of Young Australian of the Year, soon followed by the awarding of the Medal of the Order of Australia. She has transcended her team sport, one battling to gain a foothold in a crowded marketplace, and become simply Sam, Australia's Golden Girl. And it wasn't just in Australia where Kerr was flourishing. Her global marketability was confirmed when she became the first female footballer to be featured on the cover of a FIFA video game.
It's so cool to be a role model and inspire people, and I think representation is one of the most important things ever. So I just think for me to be with all these amazing footballers, amazing clubs, I'm really proud to be a part of this journey that women's football and women's sport is going on. And I think if you had told me 10 years ago I would have been a role model, I probably would have got a bit nervous, whereas now I think I'm older, I'm more mature, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud to be a role model. And yeah, it's something I enjoy every day. When you see young kids, young girls and boys, excited that a female's on the FIFA cover, it's honestly a dream come true.
But Kerr is no individualist show pony. She's in it to win it. When she went from glory to Sydney, Kerr won a championship. When she went from Sydney to the Flash, she won a Shield. And when she headed to London, she swept the board.
I didn't come here to, just be here. I come here to lift trophies and win silverware with the club.
All that remains is ultimate glory with the Matildas. And on home soil, at the peak of her powers, she will never have a better opportunity. The face of the 2023 World Cup, Samantha Kerr. Up next, can anybody stop the mighty USA in their quest for a third successive World Cup crown? The United States women's national team tower over the footballing landscape. Four-time World Cup winners and four-time Olympic gold medalists, the USA have dominated FIFA's rankings for most of the past 15 years. The defending champions head down under strong favorites to defend the crown they won in France and make it an unprecedented three-peat of World Cup victories. And the competitive fire burns as fiercely as ever.
The game is evolving. This game has evolved from World Cup to World Cup, but also is evolving from year to year. So if we don't follow those trends, then all the other national teams are going to catch up with us. And in same time, I don't just want to follow the trends. I want to set some of those trends. We want to be innovative. We want to be creative, and we want to be leaders in those trends.
Leadership is something that comes naturally to the US national team. Generation after generation of footballers have broken down barriers and elevated the status of their profession. From the pioneers of 1999 raising the bar commercially, to the fighters of 2022 refusing to give up in their battle for equal pay. At home, the women's national team is now the most popular football team in the country, with greater brand recognition than any men's European club franchise. And Megan Rapinoe has earned more fame and popularity than Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Internationally, the side are standard bearers, using their platform to advance causes close to their hearts, such as their landmark agreement with the United States Soccer Federation for pay parity with their male counterparts. A move with the potential to reshape the economics of women's sport worldwide.
This is not about one team in one country. This is about us as a collective, about what can happen in every single corner of the world.
This is going to affect more than just soccer. It's going to affect other sports and other business industries. So I think the ripple effect it'll be some time before we actually realize the effect that this is going to have on everyone.
Rapinoe, a two-time World Cup winner, is the avatar of this generation of professional athletes. Exceptional on-field and unrepentant off it.
Megan did something really consequential. She helped lead the change for perhaps the most important victory for anyone on her soccer team or any soccer team. Equal pay for women.
World Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, named the world's best women's soccer player, Megan Rapinoe is one of America's great athletes. Known for her creative play and leadership, she also leads with a fierce will off the field. A champion protecting the rights of fellow LGBTQI+ Americans. A leader on the U.S. women's soccer national team, perhaps the most dominant of any team in any sport in their successful fight for equal pay. Megan Rapinoe challenges and inspires millions of people who believe in themselves and the possibilities of our nation.
Rapinoe will continue to inspire in 2023, alongside fellow veterans Alex Morgan, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Alyssa Neyer. But this is a reshaped U.S. outfit, following the retirement of coach Jill Ellis after France 2019. Ellis had been in charge for 2 successful World Cup cycles, losing just 7 of 132 matches in her 5-year tenure. Her replacement, Vlatko Andonovski, has high standards to uphold.
What this team has done and what Jill has done, it's, I think, absolutely amazing. Jill was hired to win 1 World Cup and she won 2. So just pushed the standards even higher.
But the 2-time NWSL Coach of the Year made a strong early impression on superstar Carly Lloyd.
Yeah, I just think it's the belief in players and the confidence that he has in players that you just kind of feel, you feed off of. I've heard so many good things about him from so many different players, and now I know why. It's just an aura that he has about him. He's calm, he's collected, and he just wants to make this team better and wants to make this team playing good soccer.
Unfortunately for Andonovski, Lloyd will not be available for selection in Australia and New Zealand, after the veteran called time on her career after a staggering 316 international appearances and 134 goals. But options abound to replace her from the NWSL, the most productive football finishing school. Rose Lavelle is blossoming into one of the game's most dynamic forces. Mallory Pugh is pushing 100 caps in her mid-20s, and the likes of Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman prove the future is bright. Alyssa Neyer inherited the gloves from longtime custodian Hope Solo, and the Penn State alum has excelled in the #1 jersey. She played every minute of the 2019 World Cup run, starring in the semi-final against England with an 83rd minute penalty save, and is once again focused on the marginal gains that make champions.
Fine-tuning a lot of the little details, seeing, getting back on the field together as a group. Like I said, coming back in from our various club teams and just having two last games under our belt to play together, share the field together, and just fine-tune some of those areas and see what we still need to focus on going forward.
Captain Becky Sauerbrunn continues to anchor the back four, well over 200 caps into her international career. Alana Cook, who turned down overtures from England, has grown into Sauerbrunn's partner, moving ahead of Abby Del Kemper in the pecking order. After making her international debut for Mexico, Sofia Huerta switched allegiances in 2017, making the right fullback spot her own, ahead of veteran Kelly O'Hara. Over on the left side of defense, Emily Fox has entered the reckoning following Crystal Dunn's absence around the birth of her first child in May 2022. Andonovski's midfield three revolves around the all-round brilliance of Lindsay Horan.
And no matter what, no matter the tactics, no matter the technical execution, the mentality is always there that we want to go out and win the game and play for each other.
To her right, Rose Lavelle has built on her bronze ball showing at France, with Andy Sullivan forcing her way into contention on the left. The most significant change to the US lineup from tournament to tournament comes in attack. Lloyd has retired, Tobin Heath has dropped out of Andonovski's plans, and Rapinoe is increasingly used as an impact substitute. Alex Morgan remains the focal point up front, now flanked by millennial Sophia Smith and the industrious Mallory Pugh. No other collection of players and staff will travel with greater expectations. Anything other than a World Cup victory will be considered a failure. But if history is any guide, another World Cup victory for the US women's national team is exactly what we can expect in Sydney in August. Coming up, Melissa Barbieri makes her captain's call on the USA and their chances of a historic three-peat.
First time I played the USA, it was my second cap. 2 or 3 days beforehand, I played my first cap against Canada. Kept a clean sheet, so got to start again against the, world champions. I played against players like Brandi Chastain and Mia Hamm and that sort of realm of players. So it was very daunting. I did save a penalty, although it did come off the upright and hit me in the back and went in anyway, so I can't even claim it. They bring with them this winning mentality and success, and they're driven, and they get quite well looked after. Their sense of professionalism is quite heightened when they're around you as well. Even though they're just normal people like us, we always used to think that they were a cut above. Times have changed though since then. I think the USA have gone down a peg or two in terms of unbeatability, but that's more to the fact that a lot more players are playing in their country, in their professional teams, and players see them at their best and their worst. When it used to be they only saw the highlights reel and everything that we saw on camera was always so fantastic and when they won things, but they never really saw them as day-to-day people. So now when they come up against the Americans, they're just another person on the pitch playing against you, and we don't really put them up on a pedestal anymore. The USA team has a huge amount of strengths. The depth in their squad is usually what comes to the fore by the end of the tournament. The sheer number of players that play in America and the age of their players. A lot of national teams are quite young for a long time. The Americans seem to be, in the 27, 28 sort of category because they don't really become professional footballers till after college. They're breaking into the national team a little younger these days, but certainly more in the 24, 25. So their depth in their squad is huge and massive, and that means experience bodes well in pressure situations, and that's always been their strength. One of the young players coming through is Catarina Macario. She sustained an ACL injury and she's coming back from that for this World Cup. She signed for Lyon in France rather than going to college. So it was a surprise to see that. A lot of the colleges wanted her to go and play for them, but she has a Brazilian heritage and I'm sure she wanted to get into the professional nature of football very quickly. And I just love how technical she is on the ball. I feel like, a lot of Americans get by with their athleticism, and I really do feel like the footballing nature of players like Macario and even Tobin Heath and Lindsay Horan is what makes the American team a little bit different in the midfield. I think the Americans have earned the right to be favourites, no doubt, at the 2023 World Cup. But the beauty about football is that anyone can come and knock them off their perch, and they are big tournament players. They are always up there in the top 4, but I certainly think the likes of other teams can take them away from that first position, but they have earned the right to be favourites.
Still to come, we take a look at the award of the 2023 World Cup to Australia and New Zealand.
Now, I can announce the host country of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023, which will be Australia, New Zealand. Congratulations and thank you very much.
For the first time in FIFA World Cup history, one of the game's biggest tournaments is heading to Australia and New Zealand.
We've put forward a bit of firsts between two confederations, first in the Southern Hemisphere and a first Women's World Cup in the Asia-Pacific region. At the core of the bid is great infrastructure, strong commercials, player-centric, and more importantly, a strong legacy for women and the girls in our community for Australia, New Zealand, and the whole of Asia and the Pacific.
For many years, near neighbours Australia and New Zealand were members of the same Oceania Confederation. But since 2006, Australia have been aligned with the Asian Football Confederation, making the 2023 World Cup the first to share hosting rights between regions.
As for the tournament, we are good. We are great, Australia and New Zealand, at hosting large-scale events. And together with New Zealand Football, with FIFA, with our great support from government, with our member federations such as Football New South Wales, we do truly believe that we will deliver the best Women's World Cup of all time.
Absolutely. I think New Zealand is a great sporting country. We're a beautiful country for people to come and visit, and we put on awesome sporting events, so we're ready.
World Cup 2023 will see the number of competing nations rise from 24 to 32, in a clear indication of the growth of the women's game around the world.
The FIFA Council has already decided that as of 2023, as of the World Cup 2023, there will be 32 national teams participating instead of 24. So it will become even more global and having a much bigger positive impact on the development of women's football.
The two host nations are confident the record number of matches will be well attended.
Australians love sport. We're great about women's sports in this country, and we think the Australians will get out and support not only our own team here, but also the other teams that are participating.
To split the marquee fixtures equally, the tournament will open at New Zealand's premier venue Eden Park in Auckland. The final will be hosted at the largest arena in either country, Sydney's Stadium Australia. As women's football goes from strength to strength, World Cup 2023 promises the finest showcase yet of how far the sport has come. And in Australia and New Zealand, the tournament has perfect hosts to deliver vibrant atmospheres and professional conditions worthy of the pinnacle of the sport.